More than acting, I'd like to talk about screenplay. And for that, I will just run you through some basics. This part of the story is over. And I'll run you through some part of basics. And I have two of my very darling friends over here, Prajakta and Jitu. Understand what I'm trying to say. We unfortunately don't have the screen because the films have been loaded, preloaded, so we couldn't. So I'm going to just use this line and your imagination to tell you what the structure of a screenplay is, and then we will try to understand acting from that. Okay? Okay, how many of you have seen the Mehta Boys? Not bad, yeah? You saw it? Go and sit behind. The Mehta Boys, we'll talk about it. If you want to ask me questions on the way we structured Mehta Boys. But still, I'd like you to get to a structure of a general screenplay, the 3-act structure. And then we'll try and marry it with acting. All right? We start here, the opening image. Okay? 7 minutes to 8 minutes to 9 minutes into the screenplay, you have something called the inciting incident. Something that derails the normal status quo life of your protagonist and puts him onto a journey or requests him to, like a call to action, because something unusual happened in his life or her life and he gets derailed. कुछ बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट आया, कुछ आफत है, कुछ वर्ल्ड वॉर हो गया, या तो वर्ल्ड वॉर में है और वो सोल्जर है like 1917 and he has been sent across the no man's land to deliver a message. That becomes his call to action. So this has to happen somewhere here. Somewhere on the 25% mark, he actually goes onto that journey. All right? On the midpoint, we have what is known as the midpoint. And the midpoint is not something that you turn around and say, "Arey yaar, ye bahut bada revelation hua hai." You can have a revelation. But the midpoint, I will talk to you a little more in detail of what the midpoint stands for. Please be patient with this, it's important. Right? Then he starts very seriously dealing with the antagonist to win over the day. And somewhere around here, the 75% mark, he almost succeeds. But something happens. And whatever he succeeded comes crashing down. And all chances of him achieving his insurmountable goal are crushed. That's your all is lost moment. Now the 3rd act starts where the protagonist turns around and says, "I can't give up, even though there's no chance of victory." And he starts from zero, like it is the beginning of the film, like it is his new status quo. And he says, "Chalo, ek last try marte." So he goes all the way and starts winning again. And then there's another twist over here which he almost fails. But he comes through and we have the victory or the loss. It doesn't matter. Now, mota mil gaya? Now what you'll ask me is, what's this got to do with acting? Everything. If you do not understand the rhythm of the story, and some people do not follow this structure, if you do not understand the rhythm of the story, how are you pitching yourself as at which part of the screenplay? You understand what I'm saying? Now, at the midpoint, I'm going to talk about the midpoint a little longer than the other points because it is a little unusual from what we think the midpoint is. And the midpoint says the protagonist gets a false victory or a false failure. And that why is it a false one? Because it's a kind of victory that he thinks he likes but is not actually there. Who has seen somebody who's watched the Mehta Boys? Just put up your hand. All right? Which one of you is a writer from the people who've watched Mehta Boys? Yeah? Would you stand up and tell me your name, please?
Hello, sir. My name is Shugoto.
Shugoto.
Yes, sir. So I'm from Kolkata.
I would imagine where else would the Shugoto come from? Tell me, brother. So I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yes, sir.
I pitched you over here with an opening image, the opening image of Mehta Boys. Can you tell me?
Yes, sir. The opening image is the protagonist who's playing his son.
Right.
He's packing he's slowly getting ready for office.
Right. But the opening image actually is a dirty ceiling.
Yeah, dirty ceiling.
Right? What, over here, somewhere around the 6th or 7th or 8th minute, there is an inciting incident that derails his normal life. And his normal life is he cannot go and face his bosses. What is that inciting incident? Can you tell me?
There's a conference going on.
Right.
And the lady walks in and
Gives him a check,
yeah, gives him a check.
which is bad news. Fantastic. What is the end of Act 1 breaking into Act 2, starting a new journey, which is an unfamiliar journey?
So he goes back to his hometown.
Right.
And the door opens. He firstly meets his sister outside.
Right.
And the door opens and he walks in.
That's not the new journey.
Yeah.
That is, from here to here,
Yeah.
he has to decide to get into an unfamiliar place.
Yes.
So let me tell you, when his father comes, you all know more or less the plot of the film, right? Plot, char point hai, main aapko bata hi deta hu. The plot is when the father comes to live with him, it is going to make him uncomfortable, and that is the journey from here to here, which is the conflict area. Conflict area. From here, this is the setup, this is the conflict till the all is lost. And this is the resurrection or finding some kind of compatibility. So his father comes home, that is somewhere here. It's a very structured structure. What is the midpoint, can you tell me?
So, as far as
Yes, no, you're doing very well, by the way.
from my perspective, it was the point when he was about to board the flight when the first time the flight got delayed.
All right.
And the second time when he was frustrated and he was
Right.
about to leave the second time.
All right, the second time.
And-
Excellent.
And the boy was left all alone in the house. So I think
No,
that-
no. Let me tell you, there's a point where they're both lying in bed together and they're staring at the ceiling.
The broken ceiling.
Right. They are in bed, they are together, but not the way they want it to be. Okay. What is the all is lost moment? Yeah, can you tell me?
Yeah, when at the very end they could not find solace in the relationship.
Sorry? Yeah, it starts from there. In the rain, where it becomes the worst version of them. When they can't see eye to eye. But the all is lost moment is actually when, after that, he turns and says, "Mujhe ghar jana hai." And he goes back home. We are back to square one. From here, we are back to square one, where it all started. तो जितनी भी मेहनत की हम लोग यहाँ तक आने के लिए हम लोग वापस लेके गए. That's the structure. And that's an all is lost moment. Plus, he gets fired from his job. Plus, his girlfriend leaves him. Everything that he hoped to do or achieve, his girlfriend leaves him, his boss says, "I don't know why I pay you," and his father goes back, and their friendship is worse off than they were at the beginning. Worse off. Now we got to start the movie from here. All right. Why am I telling you all this? And then, of course, he has to start the movie again, where he starts with presenting the new idea. After the all is lost moment, there is a moment, it's called in movie structure, it's called the dark night of the soul. Is when you try and understand who you are, what went wrong, what do I do with myself, and you dig deep in the deepest recesses of your soul. It's called the dark night of the soul. That is when he's drinking on the balcony alone. And he says, "My God," and he gets the idea. He starts with the idea. There's a mid-act twist where the boss turns on and tells him, "Ye bakwas hai." And then, of course, we have the climax where he goes and shows his drawings to his father. Now, why am I telling you all this? How does it help us to understand story structure? I was talking to Jabbar sir, and he turned around and told me that Dilip Saab was a big proponent of this. He says, read the script Sit, Shoguru. Read the script over and over again and find out in this structure, how do I pitch my performance according to the structure of the film? You get what I'm saying? If I'm over here, will I be hysterical and have a high octane scene? No. You got to hold back, right? Will the all is lost moment be a high octane scene? No. It's about searching inside of your soul. So you should know at that point of time, any writer, any director over here should. When I started wanting to be a director, जो बचपन से मेरी ख्वाहिश थी, what was the first thing I did when I decided that now it's time to be a director is to learn writing. Even if I'm not going to put one word on the page. Steven Spielberg said that in one interview. Please, directors, learn writing. I am saying, please, actors, understand writing. You know how to pitch yourself in a situation where you turn around and say, at the midpoint, what's happening? We are kind of friends, but we are not friends. That's not that's not the culmination of the film. It's just a midpoint. You're halfway there. It reminds you, another thing about the midpoint is it reminds you what the movie is really all about. Why are we watching this movie? It'll tell you at the midpoint. Now this is mota. It takes us a lot of time to understand these things. For you to gather it over, even make notes will be very difficult. But I am telling all the young actors in the room, how do you pitch yourself? How do you find the sur? How do you find the rhythm? How do you find the rhythm of the dialogues? And Sudhir Joshi had told me, Sudhir Joshi. I said, Sudhir, how am I doing? Very well. How's my dialogue delivery? Tu kar hi lega tu. I said, why do you think I'm doing it? You're listening to me, he said. You're listening to the other actor. Every word, even if you know the lines, he listened to the dialogue like you're hearing it for the first time. And that will help you. Again, let's get back to structure. Another thing we do, young actors, I just want to throw some do's and don'ts for you. There is, in a scene, while you're rehearsing a scene, and you read the scene, and you come 1.5 pages into the scene, and you have one word in that scene. It's called the golden word. Do you know what word that is? What am I talking about? Anybody? What is the golden word in a scene? Anybody? Wrong answer, right answer, doesn't matter. It'll just help me to explain what I'm trying to say. Anybody?
Pause.
Pause, maybe. The golden word. Anybody else? Yeah? Shogato?
Why?
No. I'll tell you what it is. All that is important. We'll get to that. Why? Very good. The golden word is, for a lot of actors, is their first word in the scene. तो उन लोग पेज खोलेंगे, 1.5 पेज खत्म हो गया और मेरा पहला डायलॉग, you stick your finger on it, right? That's the golden word for that actor. That's terrible. It means what Sudhir Joshi said, you're not listening to the 1.5 pages, because when your golden word come, it will come in isolation without any meaning. So you're only interested, मेरा line आया last, उसका word, उसका क्यों क्या वो बोलेगा, मैं शुरू हो जाएगा, मैं दिखाऊंगा दुनिया को मैं क्या कमाल का actor हूँ. Do not concentrate on the golden word. I kind of misled you by calling it golden. Concentrate on the structure of the scene. And we'll talk about scene structure after this. This is really going to help. Because if you are not understanding or listening to what the other people are saying in the scene, all right, you will always say that golden word and golden line so badly. Let me tell you a great piece of sharing about understanding your golden word. I did a Marathi film, believe it or not. It was called Ventilator, right? And the first day, there were about 20 actors in the room. 20 actors in that room. I am the doctor, Parsi doctor, trying to speak in Marathi. And Rajesh Mapuskar, director, says, you sit. I'll give the cues, you off camera. I said, no. I want to give the cues. Why? I said, because I don't want to be a victim of the golden word. It's very simple. This is the best advice I can give you. Please, please make sure that when you are in a scene, do not think that you're not in the scene and you'll only be in the scene when your dialogue comes along. Right? So, who's in that scene? My friend Jitendra Joshi, Biju Khote, who was the sister, Sukanya More, who was the girl साड़ी के बारे में बुआम करने लगी थी. मारी साड़ी का क्या होना? हाँ, Sambera. Huh? To those Guwari, and all theatre actors are sitting over there, and I'm looking at all of them and saying, ये क्यों दे रहा है, ये क्यों दे रहा है? वहाँ from the youngest to the oldest in Marathi theatre, from the youngest to the oldest in Marathi theatre, from the comedic to the dramatic in Marathi theatre. And they are all queuing together. I'm sitting. Who are these people? How are they queuing? My God! You know why? Because they come from theatre. Otherwise, I'm sorry to say, if it was in another space, आप लोग बैठो, मैं उनका close-up लेता हूँ. Dialogue बोला? Okay, very nice. अभी आपका dialogue. No. We kept. Rather, Rajesh Mapuskar kept on doing this till it became maska. And when I had to do my scene the next day, everybody said, "Hey, you could have rested." No, I will not rest. I learn something every day. And I learn the power of not taking advantage of the golden word. I would have been the loser that day. And I would have been the loser to not see an ensemble of talent that I would rarely ever see on set or on screen. Understand that, guys. Where am I? Would you like to add about that scene, Jitendra? Jitto, Sangre, Mike there. Add about that scene.
My English is not that.
It's very good. He only pretends, यार.
No.
तो मराठी में बोलना.
मराठी नहीं, हिंदी भी है.
हिंदी में है. इसमें क्या है?
तो वो जब सीन हम लोग कर रहे थे बमन सर, तो राजेश मापुस्कर साहब की एक आदत है कि कोई भी सीन करने से पहले वो उसका रिहर्सल करते हैं, और रिहर्सल करने के बाद फिर लाइटिंग शुरू होता है और फिर एक्टर मेकअप को जाते हैं. तो दैट वाज अ वेरी बिग सीन, एंड सो फॉर दैट सीन, कल सीन होने वाला था, पहले दिन ही बमन सर आए और बमन सर ने रिहर्सल शुरू किया. तो राजेश मापुस्कर ऐसे डायरेक्टर है कि उनके दिमाग में होता है कि क्या शूट करना है, बट एक्टरों से भी पूछते कि आप क्या करना चाहते हो. तो व्हाट बमन सर एडेड इन दैट सीन कि एक डॉक्टर है तो ये सोचेगा शायद कि एक पेशेंट है तो पेशेंट के लिए शायद उसका बेटा आ जाए, उसकी बीवी आ जाए, घर का एक हाथ दूसरा आदमी आ जाए. व्हाट बमन सर डिड कि जैसे एक एक आदमी आना शुरू हुआ ना, तो बमन सर ने वो जो आप अगर देखेंगे सीन, तो कम, ओके, कम, 4 लोग आया, 5 आया, 6 आया, 10 आया, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 भी ऐसा. तो बमन सर ने वो सीन का ओपनिंग ही ऐसे कर दिया कि अरे एक आदमी के लिए इतने लोग आए हैं वहां पे, तो ये आदमी कितना इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, ये उन्होंने उस वक्त पे बताया. और वो जो डिस्कस कर रहे थे राजू दादा के साथ, राजेश दादा के साथ, कि यार ऐसा अगर सिचुएशन होगा तो सोचो डॉक्टर किस तरीके का होगा, डॉक्टर ने क्या पेश आना चाहिए. और ऐसी सिचुएशन जब भी पेशेंट शायद जी सकता है, शायद मर सकता है, एक्चुअली तो डॉक्टर को बोलना है कि देयर आर नो चांसेस, बट स्टिल ये फिल्म इज अबाउट द होप. फैमिली की फिल्म है, तो वो होप कैसे दे पाऊंगा एज अ डॉक्टर. तो राजेश सर तो सेट कि बमन यू टेक योर लाइन्स इन हिंदी वॉट एव्हर. नाही, मी दादरचा मुलगा आहे, मी मराठी फिल्म मध्ये मराठीच बोलणार. He said it and then he rehearsed it and you kind of changed some of the things. मतलब आपके डायलॉग भी आपने राजू दादा के साथ बैठ के चेंज किया. आप कौन क्या बोलने वाला है, आपने सुकन्या ताई के साथ जो आपका अप्रोच था, रादर इन्होंने मुझे बोला, मैं बहुत गुस्से में वहाँ पे पेश आ रहा था क्योंकि वो बहुत गुस्से वाला कैरेक्टर है मेरा फिल्म में. तो इन्होंने जिस तरीके से मेरी तरफ देखा ना कि इसका कैरेक्टर क्या है ये भी डॉक्टर को समझ में आ जाए, और डॉक्टर उस तरीके से, मतलब वो जो बमन सर से मैंने और एक बात, मैं उस दिन मैं पहली बार बमन सर को रूबरू मिला था, पहले काम तो देखा था, तो मैंने वैनिटी में जाके बोला था कि सर मैं अंदर आ सकता हूँ?
मैंने मना किया था, नहीं बाबा बाहर बैठो यार।
तो मैंने बोला कि सर मैं सेल्फी नहीं लेना चाहता आपके साथ, मेरे को सिर्फ 5 मिनट दे दो। और मैंने पूछा, बोले हाँ आओ। तो लेटे हुए थे और उठे, बोले बोलो। मैंने कहा सर आप व्हाट डू यू थिंक व्हाइल यू एक्ट? बिकॉज मुझे लगता है कि जितने हमारे एक्टर्स हैं, जितने इंडियन एक्टर्स हैं, उनमें से ही इज वन ऑफ दोज एक्टर्स की जो बॉडी लैंग्वेज हर कैरेक्टर के लिए अलग बॉडी लैंग्वेज पकड़ते हैं, उनका सुर अलग होता है, उनके बात करने का लहजा अलग होता है। तो इतनी सारी चीजें आप कैसे करते हो? यू नो व्हाट ही सेड, ब्रदर, देयर इज अ टेक्निक टू एवरीथिंग, बट वन थिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, इज ह्यूमिलिटी, इंसानियत, सामने वाले आदमी को समझना। जिंदगी में भी, असल जिंदगी में अगर ये अप्लाई करोगे तो फिर वो एक्टिंग की जिंदगी में भी आ जाएगा। एंड द वे ही स्टार्टेड कि ट्रूथ को पकड़ना सीखो। एंड वन मोर थिंग, उसके बाद मेरे को हमेशा हर फिल्म में काम में आई कि वो बोले कभी ये मत सोचना कि ये सीन को मैं कैसा खा जाऊंगा, ये सामने वाले एक्टर को खा जाऊंगा। ये सोचो कि पूरी फिल्म में ये सीन फिल्म को कहाँ लेके जा रहा है, और सीन में तू सीन को कहाँ लेके जा रहा है, ये हमेशा सोच रहा है। ये बोमन सर ने नॉट जस्ट बाय हिज वर्ड्स बट बाय हिज work also, and every time, each time we are in the class, or I have worked with him, I got a chance to work with him in his son's first film, वहाँ पर भी सर मैं बोल सकता हूँ?
बोल ना बाबा, तूने माइक ले लिया, अभी वापस देने का बात ही
नहीं।
बोल
तो अभी
बोल डालेंगे, बोल।
वो सीन नहीं बता सकता वो, क्योंकि रिलीज नहीं हुई है अभी तक फिल्म। तो कायोज ईरानी इनके बेटे हैं। वो फिल्म में ये अफसर हैं बहुत बड़े, तो अधिकारी है बहुत बड़े, और हमसे कुछ गलती हुई है, मैं और एक हम ऑफिसर है। तो इनके जो डायलॉग्स है ना, तो समझो कि डायलॉग ये है कि तो मुझे बताओ तुम लोगों ने ऐसे होने क्यों दिया, और वो नहीं करते तुम ये कर सकते थे, तुम्हारी अकल नहीं है। ये 3 ही डायलॉग थे, बट बिफोर रोल कैमरा ही स्टार्टेड सेइंग कि मैंने इतना सब तुम्हारी जिम्मेदारी दिया, ये किया वो किया, तुमको इतना सिखाया, पढ़ाया लिखाया, इतने साल से मैं तुमको देख रहा, एक्शन तुम कैसे कर सकते? एंड द वे ही अराइव्ड, वो जो गोल्डन वर्ड बोल रहे हैं ना, तो अपने ही गोल्डन वर्ड के लिए, क्योंकि उसके पहले सीन में कोई बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, उनके गोल्डन वर्ड को अराइव करने के लिए उन्होंने जो प्रीलूड लिया ना, तो वो मैं देखते रहे, मैं ये क्या कर रहे हैं सर। तो सर हाँ, तो ये ऐसा है।
Now you know why I love it. Now you know why I love it. He says nice things about me, nothing else. So let's get back down to the structure of a scene now. Picture का structure मैंने मोटा-मोटा बता दिया, लेकिन structure of a scene. What is it that people talk about? What is a good performance? क्या बोलेंगे? Characterization, body language, accent. अरे आपने वो ये वाला पंजाबी accent क्या पकड़ा? अरे यार, your body language look like a Sardar ji only. Beautiful. No favors. That is the bare basic minimum of getting to your character. Because if just because you speak with the correct accent, or just because you have a body language that seems authentic, it doesn't mean you know anything about the character and where he stands inside of that scene. So let's break down scenes now. थोड़ा technical करते हैं. What is, for a writer and to understand for an actor or a character, what is the requirement inside of a scene? The scene has got the similar structure. It has got a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is the setup. The middle is the conflict. And the end is what we call a reversal. I mentioned it a little earlier. A reversal. All right? If it's written well, we have to find out amongst actors, and this is primarily for actors and writers and directors, why not, is who has the action. Can anyone tell me, besides Shohotu, what is the meaning of action in a scene? Who has the action? Please put up your hand. Don't feel afraid. Even if it's wrong, it doesn't matter. At least we are trying. What is the meaning of action in a scene? Are you are spending too much time recording. Be participant in this. Put up your hand. Somebody. I'm going to ask somebody.
Expression.
Sorry?
Expression.
expression. All right. Listen, it doesn't matter if it's the wrong answer. We are here to learn also. What does action mean in a scene? Somebody else. Yes, sir.
Something that will take the plot forward or something.
All
that
right.
will make things happen.
Kind of. Okay.
Flow.
Somebody else. Yes, ma'am.
Flow.
Sorry.
Flow.
Forgetting yourself who you are and be the character.
Oh, that you have to do in any case. कोई मेहरबानी नहीं किस पे. You have to do that, right? Somebody else. Somebody else. Yes, ma'am.
I guess the character
What is the meaning of who has the action?
who's proactively doing something.
Okay. Not bad. We're getting there. We're getting there. Come on, guys. Who has the action?
Somebody who is saying something, somebody who is making some gesture.
Gesture. Okay. Anybody else? In the last row. Yes, sir. Sorry? Lying. We all have to lie all the time. अभी मैं भी फेंक रहा हूँ ना, मैं भी तो lie कर. थोड़ी मैं सब apply करता हूँ अपने work में. मजाक कर रहा हूँ. Okay, last row, sir.
So when you are mentally and physically present in that scene,
All right, that's also correct. Nothing wrong in anybody who is, sir.
Somebody who's taking scene ahead.
Okay. Somebody said something similar. I'm with you, sir. That's also right. I'm going to take one or two more to understand how simple the answer is, and I would like it to be imprinted in your hearts for the minds. Yes, my dear.
Some sort of movement.
The least, no, in fact, that's not the right answer at all. Action is not about, say, I'm eating or I'm walking or I'm, pouring water or pulling water from a well. That's not action. That's business. Okay? Be very, that business can be very thematic, but business comes later. First, you must understand, as actors, as writers, as directors, is what is the action. Everybody said mota mota, something. So let me explain. Action means who wants what. Who wants what? I want something to get somewhere. So if I'm here, I want to get here, the insurmountable goal. But before you get to the insurmountable goal, whether you achieve it or not, you will have to have mini wants. It can start here also. Normally in the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell, he'll turn around and say, the first reaction of a hero is to reject the challenge. मुझे नहीं करना है. Right? But the moment you realize that you are compelled to take up that challenge, you will start having mini goals. Goal after goal after goal after goal after goal after goal after goal. And now when you reach the midpoint, and it's called the second lock-in, you can't go back from this point, but the majbooran, we have to move forward. Your goals become more and more dangerous, because this is where the villain comes in, or the antagonist rather comes in. And he's going to be breathing down your neck. So your action is solving problems. Understood? Your action is, their action is to disturb me. I'm joking with I'm sorry, I've been kicking things around. ऊपर ही डाल दो ना तो लाद में तो ऊपर ही डाल ये उसको हटा हाँ. So let's get back to the thing. How does this help an actor in his performance? Because when I enter the stage, I can't come and use my golden word or the golden line. I have to come in with a particular purpose. Let's say we're on stage and we are in the wings. What am I concentrating on? Can you hear the breath? Someone comes, hey, go look, break a leg. And no entry. I took the stage, but why? With what purpose? What is the purpose of entering that stage in that particular? What is your body language when you enter the stage? So you ask yourself the question, somebody said why at that point. What is it that you want? What is it that you need to achieve? And your body language, people talk about body language willy-nilly, has a certain purpose. Hey, listen, I don't want you to say anything to me right now. Please don't interrupt me. Are you going to give me the 25,000 rupees that I want or not? I come with a certain purpose. What is it that I want? Now, this person has a want a goal to achieve in the scene. He may or may not achieve it. What is the job of the other actor, if he is the opposing person, is to counter that and make his life miserable. To not allow that person to achieve their goal. Now the actors have cross purposes. And what does that cross purpose give you? Conflict. And without conflict, the scene is dead. You get what I'm saying? Right? I can't stress this enough that it makes your life very simple, because you're not entering this line to say a golden word. You're coming with a very definite purpose, because I need this very desperately. The other questions, Shogoto mentioned, are the other questions that you ask yourself to raise the stakes for yourself. If it's not in the script, make it up. If the writer has not done his job, you make it up. And that's what I'm saying, how writing and acting is so important to be put together. What will happen if I don't achieve what I want? The stakes have gone up. Well, is my mother going to die if I don't get the 25,000 rupees? What will happen if I don't achieve my want? Why now? Believe me, with each passing question, your body, your purpose, your voice, everything starts falling into place. Why now? And the conflict starts. How does the conflict start? The other guy will say, "Ek minute, yaar, you come, don't shout at me, yaar. I'm sitting and my mother is not well." Oh, acha, ye to problem ho gaya. I came in to save my mother and ask for the 25,000 rupees, but he's dealing with his mother. Ah, mummy kaisi hai? Okay. Now how? It becomes so much more difficult for this guy to achieve what he wants. And the tension builds up, and that's called what? Conflict. And he says, you can walk in over here and tell me that, I'm dealing with my problem and you're coming with your bloody problem. You got some cheek. Now, both the conflicts have to have an equal weightage. Right? Because if it doesn't have equal weightage, you say, yaar, when somebody's being cruel about it. No. You got to find a way to have a worldview conflict with the other person. And once that conflict is kind of reaching a head, you have what is known as a reversal. And that reversal also helps if it's written well. Sometimes it's not written in. To have a reversal of expectation. And you must always subvert, not give the audiences what they've seen 575 times before that. Even as a performance, even as in the tonality with which you deliver the line, even with the purpose they say, yaar, is picture mein ye dialogue aise hi bolega. Kya? Aren't we fed up of listening to kya? Right? So this is a structure of a scene. But what I made easy for you is to understand your purpose in that scene and how it will help you in every single way to achieve your goal. And then you may fail. Let's get back to, so we'll have a reference point for at least 30 people over here, 40 people over here who've watched the Mehta Boys. Anybody else has seen the Mehta Boys? And I need to ask, which scene would you like to talk about? Anybody here? Put up your hand, don't feel afraid, please. Why? And nobody's been participating. Who's seen Mehta Boys? Sir, tell me a scene that you remember and we will try and understand.
I wanted to ask your take on the scene when things get sorted between the father and son.
All right.
They're going to the airport.
Right.
It seems the bond has is kind of better now, but still you hold on to the handbrake.
It's a resolution.
What is your interpretation of that scene?
Well, the interpretation is simple, that just because they've kind of found some kind of an uneasy piece, it doesn't mean that the character changes just because the movie is going to end. He's going to be the same old idiot that he always was. And you're going to smile at him and say, yaar, ye to sudharne wala nahi hu, main sudhar jaun. That's the idea behind that. But let's take a scene and find out how an actor's life becomes easy if he understands action. Any other scene you can recall? Does anybody remember the scene where the girl wants to take him to the airport? Do you remember that scene? How many of you remember that scene? Put up your hand so I can see hands. Don't be afraid, not. Who's seen Mehta Boys? I want to see hands again. Only 12 of you? You've seen it? Okay, leave the room. So there's a scene in the meta voice just to make you understand how it becomes easier to perform it if you have destructured the structure. The daughter wants to take her father to the airport, who has agreed to go with her to America. He's not very happy to go, but he has agreed to go because he's made a promise made to his wife, his dead wife. Right? Do you remember this? Thank you. Now, she has to take him to the airport. But when she enters the scene, we have a kind of a reversal over there already. And the reversal is, he's not ready. Remember? He's not ready. His hair is all over the place. He's not shaven. And what is he doing? He's typing. We already have a conflict. I've got to go to the airport. That's my action. I got to take the old man as carefully as possible without hurting his feelings to the airport. That's your action. So what's our action? Be a little careful. But we have to take him to the airport. And she sees him typing. Tuck, 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 tuck. What's going on? She goes up to him and says, Dad, Papa, what are you doing? Kuch nahi. 10 minute और 10 मिनट क्या कर रहे? I have to बस थोड़ी चीजें बाकी. क्या चीजें? This is the pushback and the conflict that she's getting. As a writer, when writing the scene, you've got to say, if she's got an action, make sure that the opposing action is so strong that he's not getting dressed and he's not crying. He is typing. How do I drag him out of this emotion when he's typing what we can say is his will? And drag him and take him away. So she says, we can do it later on. You can do it when we get home. He says, this is home. We have conflict. This is home. Okay. Saying, no, anyway, we can do it. When the movers come and, you can type it in America. And he gets more action, escalates. It's called rising action. Are we taking my typewriter? Now she's in a spot. There are stakes. Are we taking this Sunil Gavaskar bat? Are we taking these photo frames? No, right? I tell you what, why don't we take this sofa, the one your mother died on? And now she is reversed. She came in with a gusto and she's leaving with the tail between her legs because she said she's done something wrong. So in that scene, if the actors do not understand the action, the conflict and the reversal. It starts with the reversal and ends with the reversal because she has to come and say, Dad, what are you doing? Come on, let's go. And when he says, can we take your mother's sofa with us? Kya sab aayega taxi mein? We're in trouble. Now the reversal is, I'm sorry. Now she looks at her house from outside and she realizes that if I am going to miss my house, which I'll never see again, what's the old man feeling like? You have reversed the feelings of the girl who entered the scene versus the girl who left the scene. But why am I telling you all this? To make you understand, my friends, that if you do not understand who has the action and who is going to oppose the action, how are you going to perform it? How are you going to direct it? How are you going to write it? And I'll say this, while writing, this is what I do, and I think we spoke in the morning. I'm so glad. This is what I do. Movies and stories are not about events. They are about human beings. Make no mistake about it. They are about human beings. And if you really want to understand a human being, you must ask the character sitting over there and saying, how are you feeling right now? What do you want to do? What? You want to hit the old man? Really? Oh, kinda. Okay, tell me more. Talk to your characters. When you're acting, talk to yourself. When you're writing, talk to the character you've created. Because if you don't talk to the character, how will you know exactly what that character is feeling like? You've got to embody that character in that moment and turn around and say, what is it that you're feeling? It's not what happened, it is what you're feeling. And if I know what I'm feeling, then the audience will kind of get what I'm feeling. Another very important little tip that I can throw you in the acting department, and that is very, very, very important. What will happen if I don't get what I want? Ask yourself these questions, my friends. It just makes your desire to embody that scene a little more dramatic. Let's talk about character for 5 minutes before we move on and we take some questions from all of you. All right? Let's talk about character. What is character? Any answer you give me is going to be the right answer. What is character, my friends? Come on. Anything is good for me. Please don't be afraid. I'm going to ask, I'm going to point. Young lady, you had put your hand up earlier. I'm asking, what is character? How does one reveal character? Tell me. Say it, don't worry.
Who contribute to the story or take the story somewhere?
How do you reveal a person's character? Yeah, aisa hai, aisa hai, aisa hai, aisa hai, aisa hai. How do you reveal that? Take a mic and say it.
Good or bad?
Anything.
Good or bad?
How do you know what kind of person he is, or he or she is? Is she a hot-headed person? Is she a dayalu person? Is he a person that has no moral compass? Is he a person who has got great moral compass? Is he a person that has short-tempered? Is a person who is unscrupulous? Is a person a cheat? How do we reveal that?
Through everything, its body language, the words, the way the person will say the dialogues, all the things will be there.
All right. Excellent. I think excellent. Through body language, the words and the way you reveal by dialogues. All right. Somebody else. Come on. Come on, young man.
Reaction to the conflict.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing answer. The reaction to the conflict. Be aware of that. You don't have to say, "Arey, ye aadmi hai na, bahut khadus hai. Ye aadmi hai na, bahut chor hai, beeman hai." We don't have to say it. It has to come out from the reaction to the conflict. Anybody else is another way of revealing character? Young lady, you were saying, going to say?
Through their actions, the way they act in front of people.
All right. Okay. That's good. Excellent. Anybody else?
Things that make a person different from the other.
Right. But how do we reveal that is the question that I'm asking. Let me polish who the young man said something. Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
So maybe the situation reveals it instead of just the.
The situation reveals it. And what's the situation? The situation is the action of the scene. So without an action in the scene, when somebody wants something, right? If somebody wants something, how is he negotiating that want? If a person comes around and says, "भाई साहब मुझे ये चाहिए, टिकट खत्म हो गया, अरे भाई साहब एक काम करना है, तू मुझे ये टिकट नहीं देगा, हाउसफुल है, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हाउसफुल है, तू बाहर आ, मैं तेरी टांग दूंगा." Okay, I have revealed myself by negotiating my want. I want to see this movie. And you will realize who that person is. But if you say, "भाई साहब, please मुझे टिकट दे देना, मैं बहुत दूर से आया हूँ, 400 किलोमीटर चल के आया हूँ backwards." He's got a funny bone also. Now I'm revealing character by figuring out how he wants to achieve his want. Hey, bhai sahab, ek kaam karo na, please. I'll give you 500 rupees on top. Just give me the ticket. Okay, he's possibly corrupt. The first guy is possibly a gunda. The second guy is using humor and a funny situation to achieve what he wants. And the third guy is corrupt. Paise le le. So we are revealing character by the way we are negotiating our wants or hurdling over our wants. Keep this in mind. You know, sometimes I feel in a workshop like this, in a lecture like this, you may not be able to process everything, but sometimes that's one or two things get stuck in your head, and when you're in a spot of trouble, use it. Whether you're writing, whether you're directing, or whether you're acting. All right? Jitu, you want to say something? बोलना बाबा, तेरे बिना कोई मजा ही नहीं आता है।
नहीं सर, मैं मेरा स्क्रीनिंग है तो
जाने का है?
हाँ 5 बजे तो लेकिन आप आएंगे क्या देखने के लिए? नहीं ना, हाँ, नहीं आपने
He is negotiating his want over here. मेरे को 500 रुपये दे, मैं आ जाऊंगा।
हाँ? हो गोदावरी के डायरेक्टर
माहित आहे मला।
आपकी फिल्म सरांचीच
माझं
फिल्म
सरांची.
नाही सर, मी त्यामुळे अस्वस्थ होतो, पण बाकी काही नाही मला आप जो बता रहे मेरे को छोड़ के जाने का, क्योंकि whenever sir talks he doesn't talk just about acting or craft, not just that, the way he speaks, the way he entertain and took us म्हणजे त्या प्रदेशामध्ये घेऊन जाणं, अलगद ती व्यक्ती घेऊन जाते आणि while he is teaching us, the main thing is like what I want to talk to you right now about is about his mother. About his mother who was, we are all spiral bounders, we are all students, and he used to teach us while showing us some of the scenes from some of the films, and we used to discuss. एंड जब एक चीज को लेके जब 100 लोग बात करते हैं तो 100 नजरिए मिलते हैं. ये मेरे को उसमें से, तो सर ने कभी भी किसी को ऐसे नहीं कि क्या बात कर रहा है, नहीं बराबर बोल रहा है, बराबर बोल रहा है, उसमें से ऐसे बहुत आसानी से लेके जाते हैं सर. तो मुझे अभी मैं ये सोच रहा था कि सर और सर का कैरेक्टर क्या है, किस तरीके से समझबूझ के साथ एंटरटेन करते करते वो लेके जाते हैं. तो ये जो कैरेक्टर आया है ये मामा ईरानी से आया है. And let me tell you one thing. I remember the day, मैं ये बोलता हूँ सर, let me कि नहीं, मामा ईरानी was बीमार थी वो, और वो बीमार थी सर. 1-2 दिन के लिए क्लासेस वो नहीं ले रहे थे, या बोले कि क्लास लूंगा, लेकिन एंड वक्त पे कैंसिल करना पड़ा बिकॉज शी वाज वेरी सीरियस. और वो बोलती थी कि अरे तूने ये पिक्चर दिखाया, बच्चे लोग को ये पिक्चर दिखाया, इसके ऊपर ये डिस्कस किया. At that stage also she used to discuss it with him every day. And one fine day मामा ईरानी ने बाय बाय किया सबको, और मामा ईरानी चली गई अगली जर्नी पे. यू नो, ऑन दैट डे सर ने बोला कि अरे मतलब उनके जाने के बाद दूसरा दिन था, तो सर ने बोला कि क्लास है. हम सब लोग चौंक गए, ये कैसा, वी नो ना हाउ इमोशनल ही इज. और वो बोले कि क्या है ना, आज मम्मा अगर कल रात को होती तो मम्मा बोलती कि कल सुबह क्या दिखा रहा है, क्या सिखाएगा बच्चे लोग को. तो मम्मा होती तो मेरे को तो क्लास, तो मैं मम्मा के लेट्स सेलिब्रेट मम्मा, लेट्स सेलिब्रेट सिनेमा, लेट्स सेलिब्रेट आवर क्लास. एंड ही डिड इट द वे ही इज डूइंग इट राइट नाउ. सो दिस इज माय सर, आवर सर, बमन सर. आई लव यू सर, एंड आई लव मामा ईरानी. मैं जितनी बार आप जहाँ आपका रहेगा, मैं जहाँ खड़ा रहूंगा, तो मैं हमेशा आपके बारे में तो बोलूंगा, बट मामा ईरानी के बारे में बोलूंगा, क्योंकि वो मामा ईरानी नहीं होती जो अपने बच्चे को रोज भेजती कि जा देख के, और एक बार और एक बार और एक बार. इधर तो हम जाते हैं तो बोलते काय को जा रहा है, इधर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इधर से शुरू. तो मामा ईरानी के लिए एक बार
इधर. Thank you, my darling. So, before I leave it for the Q&A, and you want to ask me some questions too, I have, sir, you will be asking me some questions, or the audience will ask me some questions. But I want to, Project brother, I love you, brother. I bow before you, my friend. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to know you. This is a rare human being. Please celebrate his life, celebrate his work. I just want to have closing statements. Project Deshmukh. क्या बात है. This male kissing is getting on my nerves.